turn the camera.
Just out of curiosity, is there a specific reason this Ron is being recorded?
Say what?
Is there like a specific reason this Ron is being recorded?
Oh, we record all our rounds.
Oh,
just to like see.
Okay, yeah.
What we do. It's recording. All right, both of you ready?
No.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah, I actually.
Good? Contention 1 is my story. When I joined the debate, I was told I would become a better speaker. I would use it in debate to improve my English skills, to communicate with others, and economic engagement with them. It's Esau well overnight, learning to assimilate into a society built to reject me. But I graduated Esau and got better actors at as a game society engaged debate as compared to win it all and beat my opponents. You do not know who the Ku brothers are. You only know Centennial KK. Team people point to and say, oh, look at those Koreans winning on debate so well and working hard to win tournaments. Say, my hard work and my cutting cards to sleep at night. Assimilate to a traditional foreign debate has turned me into a model minority. But since my senior year, I have a resolution that teaches me how to engage other people. Look, like my career has come full circle. I started out learning how to engage people. Now it's time to give it back. This year I choose to engage to who I am. Through my experience with diversity, there was and exposure to non-church argument. Thus, contention 2 is the resolution. Korean immigration have been kept a secret in Mexican history. Forced labor and hostage and caused immigrants to suffer as foreigners in a foreign country. That's civilians caused suffering. It's part of Mexico history, which has been kept a secret. Hundreds of Koreans had forced labor and hostage, and they could never demand to sacrifice it. They were forced to make Yili and Banan's grandparents sell in Mexico. It was difficult. It was hard labor. Their hands were big. So our grandparents live and suffer in a foreign country. Those who refuse to work were beaten. So what's the last name? And they'll say, there's no such last name, so we all change our names. But these letters represent the myth of the minority. Through like NEK and Korean immigrants were recognized as the best worker, but treated and excluded like brutes due to their identities. In 2005, when they left their home life for a state country among the 103 Koreans, not one would see the beautiful mountains and the rivers of their home country ever again. The first Korean immigrants to Latin America, they showed they gave editing and captured Japanese slave traders disguised came to show some take Koreans to work on sugar cane plantation. They sold their slaves to crackers plantation over the fact that they led lives worse than those of Roosevelt. Their diligence earns their master reputation as the best worker. So much that they're given the nickname and they couldn't. But the story is the same throughout the entire history. The model minority has manifested itself in the history of America, which is narrated differently by Asians. They face uniform discrimination. One day excluded and degraded them, but was kept silent through the myth of the model minority. That is child 293. The exclusion from legal political population immigrants and people not just in prison or victimized. The Poland were not Chinese immigrants. All Chinese immigrants attained as such until the claims of entry were verified by intensive cross-examination. The field is Poland is Poland, the other brothers. The culmination of discordant practice. Stories of the period resonate with the degradation and despair. Experience of the early Chinese immigrant provides the context for all Asian immigrants because other Asian immigrants encountered similar violence. Korean thought that immigrants were foreign and pro-white anti-Asian reaction by retaining their ways. They tried to overcome discrimination by distancing themselves from the Chinese and Japanese by becoming more westernized. Except despite these efforts, immigrants to western and be accepted. They're treated by white Americans as merely different strains of the same yellow peril. The 1970 federal naturalization act, permanent only free white persons become naturalized. Following the 14th Amendment, Asians became the only group ineligible for citizenship. But that's the non-Asian rights classified aliens into two groups. Those eligible and those ineligible citizens. Private basis for state discrimination, such classification per basic class protection without race neutral phase and thus immune to equal protection challenge. Many states took advantage. Asians were placed in cyber schools. Asian Americans were denied questions of rights such as the right to own property, the right to choose one for action. Few people know that Asian Americans challenge the legality of cyber skills. To counter Asian Americans not face discrimination, to challenge myth that Asian Americans are a passive model minority. Asian Americans contributions to our movement have largely been ignored. The federal measure ultimately had a profound impact on the psyche and the development of the Chinese American community. Hundreds of would-be immigrants that came from us. The Angel Island facility was technically escape proof. The detained are treated like animals, commodity for to limit quality climate quarters. Our environment, they steal, spread the stereotypes of Asian Americans as aliens. Those who not belong here, and those present not decided. We must recognize that early age immigrants were brave enough to raise their voice, and we can do no less. So the plight continues today. The experience of China rather than demonstrate oppression against Asian Americans. The only way to solve this is to speak out against this island. That is China 93. I'm a second generation Korean American language capability. I also number one farm worker. I've been told I engage in non-traditional legal scholarship may hurt my job prize. I think about the American border guard who sound with a child return. He my valid license is not good enough to let me return. He asked me what my passport was. I managed to phone call me to make them very happy. I told my law firm that I will not be at work until I prove that I belong. I've been an alien. Things have happened since like the time I was refused service as a service agent, or the time I was stopped in New Jersey for suspicion of its only vehicle. 4 big policemen against one small Asian man. Perhaps they're afraid I might not watch their lives. They cannot even say one word. Sorry, no matter how hard I scrub it's not clean. No matter how hard I try, I can never be as good as everyone else. I can never be white. So I am tired of silence, and so I raise my voice. But throughout broad society, oppressed minorities, policed by hostility and discrimination, they are locked in a position between inclusion and ostracism in an unjust state, in a nation that promises reelection. That is preferring 2007. Minority people struggle with the process of gaining settlement made according to care about different cultural styles and sources of hostility over discrimination to violence. You truly properly record disciplined immigrants behind entering a social context that includes a substantially disenfranchised population, separated from the challenge by race, religion, and language, locked in a position so rapidly includes ostracism between the dominant and the stolen. Not to mention that the people just beneath them seem part of the unjust in nations like the United States, whose diversity is so great, whose ideals promise the possibility of realizing for all. Now, this manifestation of the Malmanu, portraying Asian Americans solely as hardworking others, without the exposure of the plight, makes people resent and become unsympathetic to Asian Americans. 3 implications. 1 is that the oppression of Asian Americans continues. 2 is that the Asian bodies used to justify the oppression of other minorities. 3 that the Asians are viewed as privileged by other minorities, when in reality that's not true. That is China 93. The history of discrimination obscured by portrayal of modern Asian Americans, portrayal of hardworking, intelligent, successful. Belief in the modern minority left is justified ignoring the unique discrimination faced by Asian Americans, or portrayal of the general public to ignore the leads. You'll find it in motivation mind pulling self-reflection, become a model of self-respect. The modern minority has become a largely unquestioned assumption of the country reality. One can see the label as a tool of oppression, which 1, the United States oppression discrimination against Asian Americans. 2, legitimizes the oppression of other racial minorities. The myth that gains against one of the most inside and outside the Asian American community. The myth that created an audience sympathetic to the problems of Asian Americans. They can never even spark resentment, provided monitor the logical reaction of the literature to outspoken Asian Americans writing once knew that she was offended by his military. Surely some of these other writings nominated not more illustrated. I bet they offended by surveillance expressed feelings. To my surprise, they were not offended by any of the Black American, Chicano, and Native American writers. They understood the angry face of the Black and Chicano, but they emphasized with the Native American. But the Asian American, it made me angry because I did not even know that Asian Americans felt oppressed. The modified myths render the oppression of Asian Americans invisible to we outsiders without social service. Thinking that Asian Americans are succeeding, officials have denied funding for social programs and all that. College administration have excluded Asian American students from educational opportunity programs. Japanese American men earn incomes compared with those white men, but they only do so by acquiring education. The income disparity from other Asian American groups are more glaring. Asian American families are more workers from hospital. Wage disparity become paramount. Geographical locations considered, but the myth works a dual harm by hurting other racial minorities and poor whites who are blamed for not being successful. African Americans and Latinos and poor whites are told, look at those Asians. Anyone can make it in the country. This blame is justified by the media theories to prove that other Asian Americans. We are complicit in the oppression of other racial minorities. This blame creates resentment against Asian Americans among African Americans, Latinos, and poor whites. The bottom line is the convenient scapegoats. As Korean Americans in Los Angeles discovered during the virus, many Korean Americans now view themselves as human shields caught between the white majority and anger of the black minority. The bottom line myth establishes a racial hierarchy which denies the oppression of Asian Americans. Thus, Gay and I advocate through a process of conscientization in order to interrogate the United States federal government's economic gains towards Mexico. Contending through is conscientization. We often competitively participate in debate that ever contain the possibility for how debate can change the world. How the critical thinking and the reason skills of opposition pride meeting advanced methodology liberated press groups from national location. Our speech I focus on the epistemological role of criminal activity in the development of critical consciousness. The debate becomes more than a game, but a process of lightning and conscientization. That's also June 2007. The fact Asian Americans while living in class geographic and political have find those absence of the real possibility that young people critically conscious and fully out there. Active involvement in action noteworthy. Given the political matter, shifting the rights and hopes of receiving activism are driving to see after these Asian Americans have gone against the grain and become politically involved. They realize the politics of conversion with a tendency to nihilism. It's countervailing factor people out there is hope for the future. The common passion factor contributes to the development of the Asian American critical consciousness, like U.S. economic engagement, as well as the way we choose to discuss economic engagement, the collective presence of the Asian identity. Our critical examination of the issues political question raises our conscious of how we Asian insist in seeing the world. That creates real change. Also, June 2007, conscientization being able to name the law. Meanwhile, to recognize, understand the impact of social condition, force oppression, our lives. The process of conscientization, public clarification, one race, Williams. While we move on in the world, post-right nation will not give the world more dynamically in the making. Such recognition inspire people working against oppression, beginning to act efforts to transform the world. The world's important steps are actively changing, but our performance is critical. Debate has critical elements that contribute to conscientization that must be embraced for effective social change. Also, June 2007, the critical elements that contribute to conscientization, important of information examples will commonly understand what lives shaped by social forces, and important one's education or key social organizing difference. Goal is not how to buy racism or the Asian American experience. Despite the experience, all the Asian Americans struggle with local nation, come into to make Asian people and transfer understanding into actual research and knowledge they learn from different efforts to make change. Finally, conscientization occurs on discrete elements or in combination. Without purely intellectual experience, after social remedies, it's a multifaceted and to related experience reinforce each other. For active thing to raise the critical consciousness of Asian Americans. So that's the substance content to lay the cognitive foundation necessary for people to see themselves in relation to the world. There's a valid can offer a range of experiences without conscious community, breaking from binary construction that pit academic programs against student activity. Conscientization arises when people are exposed to and combine lessons learned from a variety of sources.
First question, how is your method accessible to us, me and my partner?
Because conscientization is not something like exclusive to Asian Americans. Conscientization, we say, is a good method to liberate oppressed groups.
I mean, because all of your evidence is specific to Asians.
It is specific to Asian, which is how we are performing our identity.
I just want to know how is it accessible to me and my partner?
Because conscientization is not only something exclusive to Asians. It's
but
something
I'm saying, like, but your evidence is specifically talking about
evidence is specifically Asians, which is why we read it in our 1EC.
Okay, what piece of evidence do you read in the 1EC that talks about that method as it compares to bodies of color?
Okay, so I'll explain what conscientization.
We need to know what's
No, I need to explain it to first answer your question. Our Osajima card is talking about conscientization in the context of young Asian Americans. Conscientization is critical consciousness is something other authors talk about, such as Bell
I
Hooks.
just want to know where in the warrants of any piece of evidence from the one.
Evidence does not speak to other groups other than Asians, but the process is
what
applicable.
You pull me out of line. Like that specifically says
I just said we don't have a piece of evidence for that, but it is applicable to other groups.
Do you claim to understand what our subject position is?
No.
You also, so how does voting ab change the material conditions of oppression?
Because voting ab is an affirmation of the process of conscientization. It's an affirmation of the breaking down of the myth of the model minority that Gabe and I have presented through a performance of the 1EC. We perform and engages by shattering not only traditional debate norms, but traditional norms that have thought that Asian Americans are not oppressed, and that Asian Americans are just a model minority working hard and living fine in the country.
Okay, so you talk about Asian slavery. Why do you choose to focus on that type of slavery?
Because that is from our social location, something that has been kept invisible, barely known to anybody, hence how someone...
So are competing methods good or bad?
Like the key word there is competing. Like debates of method are bad, but they have to disprove why our method is good.
So there can possibly be a method that's better than yours?
There can be, but it has to prove why ours is bad, not just
How do
it's
you
better.
do that? How do you do that?
Prove why our method is
How?
bad. Like, engage.
Like, how can I prove that my method is better than yours?
Wait, we're not going to tell you how you can prove our method is bad. That's your job to figure out. Like, you have to prove why conscientization is bad.
But I'm saying how, because you're saying that competing methods are bad, but you're saying...
We're not going to tell you how to win the debate. This is a negative strategy that you should have thought about, talked about, and engaged our process of conscientization.
Alright, so what type of, what places are whites only, like, what places are like whites only where Asians are prevented? What type of places? Like, you talk about how Asians are also still excluded. What places that are white only where Asians are still excluded?
What places are white where Asians are excluded?
Yes.
Well, we say multiple places. Places like debate, places like college advancement programs, places...
Asian Americans are excluded in policy debate?
In a way. There's the performance of the Asian Americans is just something that's just coming into our activity that's been never touched on before.
So do you think that the Asian slavery that you highlighted was equivalent to the slavery of 400 years for the black
Not at all. Those are two separate things that are probably uncomparable. But the model minority myth is something that affects all racial groups, which will be our argument.
I need like 10 seconds.
Exactly.
Hey, are you starting from 10?
Do we have 10?
Whatever you guys want to do.
We've done equal rounds of them.
We've been doing 8 actually.
Just do it.
Okay.
That's what I do.
Okay, that was good.
We'll do 10. You two want 10?
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
All right, cool.
I didn't see no one, but okay.
Alright.
You good?
Are you keeping prep?
Yeah.
Okay.
You have to
minute 20. I had like a minute 27 used.
Yeah, that sounds right.
All right, and we're gonna do. We're doing 10. That's 8. 33.
It just went off.
Oh shit, they're running politics.
GG.
Playing a super unpopular.
Oh yeah, I just like pull it up broken.
Oh, I thought you said it.
All right, ready when you are.
Where I came, you would never know the struggle or the pain. It's so easy to view the money and how it came, but I forgot we're not from the same social location, so you couldn't understand these problems that I'm facing. It isn't history's perspective for you to fail. Think about it, follow the trail. Harriet lit us his way in 1869, the Underground Railroad to Rosa on the bus in 1955. That's the story I was told. Little do they know the story never unfolds. My body is still profiled, and it's not because of my hair or my style. It's who I appear to be, young, black, and handsome, but in their eyes, the enemy. My body has now been labeled a threat inside of society. Within this community, I was told a prophecy. My voice should not be executed. George Davis, 2011. Destruction of the black body, case number 2007. This homicide was purposely injected with no remorse, and the other to reject it. Begging for a life that was well deserved, yet beyond measure, the white body has still been preserved. No tears shared for the murder that we call the federal government. Innocent bodies left for death. What does this represent? False accusations of our identity, just ignoring that I'm here will not get rid of me. Trayvon Martin, 2012, marked Skittles as a lethal weapon. The trigger was full with no conception. Nor interrogated motive preceding this action. I guarantee he feels some sense of passion. This here is the greed and gains have caused the problems which I have faced, and as I enter into the debate community, I can never be modeled as a perfect minority because of the tattoo upon me. That means that people was left with no other choice but to reject me. The one and cease method presupposes that the black body has tools to engage in conversations when we don't even have those tools in the first place. We don't have the ability to create methods like consciousness for resistance inside of the world, since we are already antagonists. All other evidence assumes the position of a subject being rejected and labeled by society when the black body is not a subject rather than an object to begin with. Bold 13. First year of Garbage, anti-body surface, now continue to fill certain types of African Americans, all hard working, less than children, right, brothers, they remain in categories of politics, now psychology, experience, how black and our individuals, times images of all sorts of injury, racial, or violence, all not visible, all they have covered stories about treatments, brothers, Virginia, South Africa, all time New York, it will also scream with pain, and that's racial teaching of misunderstanding of how major public safety, some public state by expression, institution of what was lives of black and Hispanic people, racism, still, this sort of South American level of genocide, racism, not race, black city, analyses, they have likely about Balkans, spells, Detroit, have a large germ that retains the capacity to generate new strands of diseases, which we have not been incorporated for in the first place, and the fantasized multiracialism of the 180s, anti-black, and frames blackness as the undesirable position. Others compare themselves to Rex 2011. The only thing amplifies the versus either versus virtual identity versus non-desires to achieve top place in return figures of black and knowledge to resurface each. So this non-multiracial discourse has now been made to stereotypical for this type of thing in contemporary for multiracialism. What's here to have multiracial discourse or coherence contribute to the unsophisticated understanding of race and versus non-black consent is with not as an identity but structural position against which all other subjects are now taking bearing to how the multiracial identity be structured with the race movement need to have a system of racial categorization to even amount to seven or in their starting points ignores the blackness that it was created through the middle patches that spills over and affects all other forms of oppression through minorities. Do it at 714. There was a deeper structure in inequality in place of temporary integration structure to the U.S. society that's not been just like other countries addressing disparities rooted in their various structure, partially structure and inequalities around the middle of the norm framework of American society. They not have addressing disparities unlikely even professionally in themselves, but focus on individual behavior change. They not have something society first creating some positive role and models in the first place now time being observed deeply progressive structure of racism society. The U.S. society was going to have the mainstream narratives of racism built into the process institution of watch maintaining American society everyday conservation success, further back to the principle governing everyday life as well as superiority by racial dictate, rules, representation, participation, engagement, market kind of engagement. And the 1AC talks about slavery in the past tense, while the black body suffers from slavery in the status quo, the ontological death of the black body precludes the oppression of all other oppressions. This isn't the oppression of limits, but blackness must be the starting point because it is the bottom of the racial hierarchy in which whites are at the top and Asians are right under them. That simply means that the 1AC is a trickle-down method, and this is the wrong method. We actually need to start with the bottom-up method. Glossberg, 714. Black not like black is not more like other days created recipe. Those who consciously are all consciously contain commitments to American democracy. We disrespect justice are able to decide white supremacy. Now the order for society is continuing black and must be seen with their reign. Market is get whites black out and kill. We do not have anything to do. We do not want publishing since we are not being conscious or more about the rest. We are not actively oppressive because we are the system controlling unjust and unjust. It is morally unacceptable call for all. Such going not be consumer oppression. Mercy we must keep ourselves. We cannot have active resistance to the system. We must never understand our privilege. Everywhere potential for performance resistance. My pessimism legislate for the top of the American financial upon ideology, white supremacy, anti-blackness, anti-blackness is one of the principles. The first way I was thinking commitments to work towards injustice that we not have work. It looks nothing like this. And them reading the 1AC in a white-dominated space of debate does nothing to create methods. Whether it allows for whites to view the different methods minorities create to be superior when this option is never available. When a judge votes for your performance, it's not to liberate you. Whether it just simply means that they think that you spoke well. This inevitably makes minority puppets for white entertainment. 184. We became a minority studies in our places. It functions like two black to recognize and maintain the first step. Police are also have a position on fair down science and rest of you and our trying to separate a priority for children, president, epistemological order, only categories of the order of nominative because of structure and any lecture experiences and affirming whether some reputation of the black items that we have. We reframe the records we cannot provide some structure. Some discouragement and something now we have to deal with organization. Limits our incorporation black to the order being think that we have legal organization for the epistemological rating first only back including top numbers of education which they do not have numerous in the first place they have this audit cafeteria they uniform skin these have experiences fully true away to top any fundamental change person black and be law on the campus of being group in the first place long as this type of culture cannot create this type of culture extra critical cultural spaces is now inclusive to white American and that probably means that this type of priority of self-preservation is now normal community downslash your biological body because now less articulation towards whoever had led these type of images themselves are now biological beings such as the description that I have now merged overall ratings of knowledge yourself taking into connection between time to make between the periodic rhetoric and those thermonuclear warfare is now key languages and temporary government programs now are intelligent by this as a mechanism which determines that one of the fugitivity coded by the body is maintaining a system. And since we both came to the conclusion that the Asian body as well as the black body has been enslaved, why continue? Why should we bother to continue as puppets to white America? How many methods do we have to create before we finally realize our alternative is to reject an act as an act and burn down the structural hierarchies that produce violence against the slave as well as the Asian body? Freedom is an illusion created by the shackles of civil society and abandoning the pursuit for equality is the only way to break away from the way that whiteness maintains itself qualified. What should be done to 200 years of the same world? He was about to be necessary to run everything that what has to be done to copy the man's work supposed his own and the argument to say wrong. Everything because everything was necessary to order for it. Allowed to follow entire body was with a position to say worse than like it was not changed first to say run out. Everything yes, unfortunately that's how everything goes on burn out. They greatest most success work pollution are make side of here to fire across the water. They now creating 90 problems that now the down to the first century there's problem Caroline Constitution built as a war and lead the state power 90s now there's an entire war and it also becomes themselves a state yesterday today and tomorrow. All there's nothing we can actually do to change, and we must establish our figures only escape from certain type of words. Every time to call what becomes a dome, what becomes other heartbreak. The save is not individual souls. They are never heartbreaking. The save is our split of what we actually have to call up and become the save. Now we have only for the loneliness, the violence, the schizophrenia, the save. At the beginning of the death, not sure the death is not beginning but the end. There is no progress to exit the undiscovered country of the slave. So it makes sense we need to train about what we need to go out and have progress for narratives. We're narrative, no raising narrative, and take upon the save. The save there is this is from slavery to progress. From slavery ends here. She progress for the white or white, black to white to black and white, black to progress. Slavery runs out to the direction of the past periods in timeline, and that only means a additional freedom and rules are legality. Other stuff like perfect is something the state freely choosing body down by its master and itself. The slave fact it's about to say by offering the equal rights. The system markets of plantation, the system of system of slavery, the system of plantations, how plantation all represents some hierarchy. This is overall black white only. It's actually the black the some plantation system now commit suicide to the slave whether it's at the above as no one acknowledges the fact itself that slave on its way back to the undiscovered country only by burning down to every plantation of freedom is only calling and only constitute the possible direction of all truths that have to blossom and securities of life. So we only be free slavery is that how do the slaves our slaves are not born, they are just simply made the slave or must become against slavery is white over black is dead, white over black is dead. This is the same thing that becomes pursued and calling this is not calling. I got 35 seconds. You want me to read something? Alright.
That's cool. Your winter card says we should not perform for this white activity. Am I correct?
That was one of the arguments in winter.
Why don't you link to this?
Why what?
Why don't you link to this?
Because we're not trying to create a method in which we can stop oppression. Our argument is that inside of debate specifically, when minorities come and we try to create these methods of like how we can stop certain oppressions, it's like when a judge votes for a performance, it's not necessarily...
What's the alternative?
The alternative is like to do nothing. Our argument specifically says our refusal to try to create these type of methods.
So what are we supposed to do when we get up into 1AC?
To get up into what do you mean?
You said the alternative is to do nothing. Is it just saying affirm nothing, make no change?
What we're saying is that we should not try to create different type of methods that are like a universal method that can stop these type of suffering for a variety of minorities.
So it's like since nothing works, we just shouldn't bother trying, right?
We're saying that there is nothing that we can do from prevent the slave body from coming into existence.
This card's in the context of the black experience. Where once in your 1NC do you talk or even mention Asians?
The same place in the 1AC where you had cards talking about the black experience. What we're saying is that since we both agree that both of these bodies have been enslaved, the argument you've read the slave narrative of the Asian body. I'm reading the slave narrative of the African. I'm not even gonna say black because black constitutes more than just African American. But when I'm reading the slave narrative of the African American, what I'm saying is that since we are both agreeing that both of these bodies have been enslaved, that means that in order for someone in society to be free, someone has to be enslaved, which means that one of these bodies will inevitably be enslaved. Since that is so, there are no methods
to
make
a little bit of sense.
to figure out.
Since affirming one method means that the other will be enslaved, that means that...
No, we didn't say affirming one method means that the other will be enslaved. We said that in order for someone to be free in society, someone has to be enslaved.
Okay, what is liminal mean?
What is what?
Liminal.
Liminal.
Yes, your winter card says that liminal phrase or reference is something good.
Where is that at?
The winter evidence.
I'm saying, where does it say that at?
The winter evidence.
The part you highlighted, the liminal group, the liminal frame of reference therefore can provide the outer view from which perspective the grammars are regularities.
Yes.
And you were asking me what does what mean?
What does liminal mean?
Actually, JoJo, I can like...
Alright, that's cool. The Goldberg evidence quotes that if you don't want to change the system, you're not being cautious and moderate, you're being actively oppressive. How do you change the system?
We're saying we can't change the system, and that is the thing. Do
you want to change the system?
That is why, no, we're saying that there's no change that can actually change.
Okay,
That's exactly
cool.
why we're saying that just because a judge will vote for your performance does not mean they're going to actively change the system.
How does white supremacy justify racism against black? African Americans, if you don't know.
How does white supremacy justify
racism?
Well, I mean, it kind of justified the slave trade. It kind of justifies how What?
You're saying that slavery was good for the economy was something messed up. That's how they justified it. So how do they justify it in current society?
Well, it's kind of justified through the stand your ground law, where, for example, George Zimmerman can shoot Trayvon Martin and like it set his ground. But like, I forget the lady name in like Florida. She shot in the air and she didn't even shoot anyone, but she went to jail because she was African American.
Hey, Gabe, 1 second to prep.
Give me that part, okay? Okay, 10 seconds, use.
Yeah.
Order is going to be case and the critique. You're going to want to bring your computer up there. Actually, no.
I'll just make this argument first.
Alright, I'd flip the case on the just consolidate it.
You did what?
I'm just gonna consolidate the case.
You're going to contend it?
Yeah. Unless you want me to do it.
Could you separate the case, please?
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Can I have a flash drive once you are done with it? Okay, never mind.
Make this one first.
Let me pull it up.
Is anyone not ready?
I'm not ready.
Yes.
Right.
Right.
He's not ready.
Oh, yeah.
No.
I'm gonna go get one paper.
This is a flashlight.
Where is it? It's called 2AC.
No, I'm saying this is like the flash house right here.
So, are you ready?
Yes.
Okay. At the top, they do not have a dissent to our message of conscientization, a process of knowing, naming our world, who we are able to take a stand in active change to be able to change our world and understand our common terms with our Asian. This is not a term just specific to Asian America, which they have tried to prescribe onto us. It is a term for everyone, which we will discuss later on the critique. First, there's several implications for the Asian Americans are portrayed as the hardworking intellectual minority. They are that portrayal permits the general public to ignore the plight of the yellow body, which is entirely the one to see that we are pushed on the road, we are kept invisible, and we are not talked about. That leads them to one Asians have been kept out of social service program, excluded from education operative program because they're perceived not to be to other minorities are blamed for not being successful like Asian Americans, African Americans, Latinos, and poor whites are told, look at those Asian Americans, you should work harder to become a part of the society. Now, 3 Koreans are used as human shields who protect the white and receive all the resentment from African American become a scapegoat which emphasizes the racial hierarchy that exists. However, we are using our identity to break down the notion of anti-blackness. We are not mutually exclusive, which the critique now goes to the critique proper. First, it's got to be the no-link argument. We agree that black body should be the starting point, but it's a question of alternative solvency. After the civil rights movement, white supremacy had to get tricky because they could not justify oppression by outright bigotry. They had to do something. So what did they do? They chose the Asians to be their darlings, to raise an anti-blackness in civil society. Because white supremacists can point to the Asian as a model minority and blame the blacks for not hard or working harder. Now blacks are shunned because they don't have a good work ethic like the Asians. The alternative does not stop civil society from using justification as a weapon. Here is their own Goldberg card. We can't do nothing. We can't tell folks who are doing something to slow down. If you don't want to change the system, you are not being cautious or careful or moderate. You are actively oppressive because the system as currently exists until the status quo is morally unacceptable. This is their own alternative solvency card, which means their alternative cannot resolve any of the claims, and you should prefer the burden. Now, second no-link argument is Wilson says minorities should not use change the thesis of anti-blackness means that we should not engage in. We are not. So this is just another reason we don't like that. Third no-link argument is we are not a universal ethic. We are speaking from our identity. They have no cards about the Asian identity, which is another reason they exclude us and don't even engage our burden from the one Asian. Now, the fourth no-link argument is their own winter card, which says that we are performing in an anti-black in a debate society, and that's bad. First, it's got to be this is the line from your own winter card about liminal groups. The liminal groups are any order that are the ones to able to make us free from these prescriptions. The liminal frame reference therefore can provide an outer view from perspective that grammar of regularity. What you don't know is liminal means transitionary. It means boundary. These groups are the Asian American groups, the Latinos, the Native Americans who are excluded from the black-white boundary and things like that. Your own winter card is providing offense for us. Now, the Asian identity is the liminal group that should be used. Fashad in 02. If African Americans did not receive reparation for injustice in history, Africa was to further exploited no considered producers and discord on de facto races that blame the state for inequality that China tried to mention social economic relation with the land of thought and affirmative action rather than racial words of bear. Further social dysfunction affirmative action came into develop on the new concern to upon race itself. Virtual arsenal Asian America provided a single useful way to attack the problem of equity. The overrepresentation, the binary will be heard by social and engineering that one already overrepresented too. They would be Asians are using instant Zen as a weapon against redistribution of fractional fuel to offer Asian America as the civil very treats African American problems believe that a single parent a weak and larger single they're inaccurate model minority not to uplift the Asian proposal the black and Latino argument is that Asians are good citizens, they do not need assistance, black needs assistance, they are a chain of reason for Columbine process, building with historical knowledge forces to bring in order to prevent Columbine state power to destroy instrumental cloak. You can remark the card there. Now, also, public space is key for our process of conscientization. 095 such an alternative will not happen until the courage to take power and maximize the pedagogical impairment, object informing new culture, imaginary and motor individual subject to agents again rooted in the problem based building problems related to social movement. They can't imagine the use during the talk to tell and dominate economic institutions reclaim public safety with the culture of democracy can flourish in market. Now, permutation to votes. Now, they claim that the black body cannot go through a process of conscientization. No, yes, you could. This is Bell Hooks rights in 2003. Consciousness is the ability to be aware, to have the option to exercise power. Serving our means of critical consciousness and process. We reflect on the integral step of awareness for most black consciousness that we live in a racist and white supremacist society. A critical consciousness that's the word where we utilize knowledge of reality in a way circumvent racial exploitation. Black children who are aware that live in a racist society and negatively stereotype. The children may act in a critically conscious way, providing the children with positive and counter repetition and post a dominant culture. Now, several net benefits to the permutation. First is one is the black-white binary. The negative operations within the framework of anti-blackness within civil society. This causes racial scapegoating that undermines anti-racial coalitions and turns the entire country conscious to that's a for excessive totally binary white black-white pattern nerves. The racial that's in order to critical race theory must have multi-dimensional heart. Racial injustice causing exclusion hard not injuring by black motor properly supporting people from causing deep in the nature of social binary racial politics formation anti-racial sidelines and demonstrate personal racial inequality binary racial discrimination Shakespeare Latino Asian America argue that black should be a minority using the Asian American the binary race discourse allow white to discredit black bring Asian Americans as proof. Now the silence smooths over different forms of race and either discards them as irrelevant or integrates them within the logic of anti-black. The Asians are whitening or assimilating to whiteness rather than facing distinct problem outcome from 2003. when classification done when Latinos were overly denied when their classification was denial that right could be not be appealed and unified theory racial must have a way African and all of the 10 avoid reproduction Chinese people not allowed to come to a prostitute but not native people represent language the paradigm the anti-black racism intertwined with slavery does not help the illuminating experience of other non-white groups whether ideology rely on the charge of being disappointing people all the projection that be regarded African American black white paradigm as steady adequate knowledge of diverse racial reality in the United States we can racism and attempted inclusive to have the negative effect on the ability to develop a solution to make a common consequential person stable coalition coalition have been denied capital to begin politics to at the same time they are made subsequent group stable of black white paradigm racism theoretically political and addressing of racism community college which is not white we must accept a racial share of blame resist explanation priority resist to playing zero community called racialized group like Latinos Asian American Native American are often ignored all together. Now the second net benefit is that we control uniqueness debaters are just now coming in terms of the areas in such as Centennial cases such as Harvard BS we are starting to grow through our positive conscientization to critique it only has a risk of excluding that from the discussion. Now this risk perpetuates the myth of mono minority which means cases in white impact and through the myth of a mono minority protected because of political conservative attached to Asian American people in the dark because Asian American the success stand for a strong family conservative that poverty Latino African involved speak by their own value substitute important in the U.S. just every culture Texas and fever Asian American American trees are living proof of the power of the free market action and racial division closer look at page dollar page to the plight of a refugee camp where the Laos Vietnam's go 40% Asian Americans lost their average association free wartime constitution and people recently they had a devastating effect on the lives of the United States freedom of association were much higher than non-model minority. Now the impact is collateral damage the failure to expose racism against Southeast Asian makes it individual to perpetuate their suffering saying in 2000 perhaps more than any other racial group Southeast Asian defining definitions set by immigrant culture poverty Southeast Asian or welfare state first time for embodied neoliberal nihilistic fantasy humanity society these conditions are really aberration running into caste society expectation refugee like resettlement these years selling how much of the black culture poverty Southeast Asian poverty can be thought at collateral in order to against black Asian Southeast Asian refugees and call to unobtainable now extend the narrative from our one AC this is a reason why debate has to include the voices of the South American or else we as a team as Centennial KK used to oppress all of the performance teams be like look at those minority China debate traditional why can't you do the same now third is going to be the third FF is the F needs to be weighed in the cultural debate. The critique is exclusionary of the different identities debate that will lead to the extinction of debate. Valdivia supplement 98. The globalization of American culture calls for the more diverse rhetorical competency by review different multicultural communicate style advancing in the 21st century and areas so society industry increasingly become multicultural with a forensic coach, critics, and competitor. Continually adapt involved into interaction with everything the environment and risk is to take the possible forensic and multicultural strengthen in several. We must consolidate evolution strengthen in several ways. We must recognize potential education gain. We expose our talents to existence. Now, methodology must include a diverse range of. I don't need to read this. I'll just finish the other one. This can be accomplished to positive species in Puritan for other cultures. I did not mark that part.
Alright, so you say that agency could be that limited group. So just because the evidence calls.
Can you repeat that? I didn't hear the first part of your question.
Just because the evidence calls for a limited group, what gives Asians the
superiority
over all other groups to be
that? The current traditional way of looking at anti-blackness is black, white.
Okay, but I'm saying, what gives Asians, specifically Southeast Asians, the ability to be that limited group that
we are the liminal group because the Southeast Asians, the Asians are not talked about. We are invisible. This of the model.
Okay, so how do you prioritize certain minorities over others? Just
we don't say that. We don't say that.
But if you're saying that you need to be that limited group, how do you decide? How do you have the decision capability to be able to say that you?
We say anti-blackness is bad. It should be the starting point. However, we're talking about alternate policy. Like what matters?
No, but I'm talking about specific.
Wait, when you just say anti-blackness is bad, it should be the starting point. Why was that discussed in the way?
You're interrupting me again. Let me explain. The problem is the alternative, per your Goldberg evidence says, cannot do anything. Our method is a better way to break down anti-blackness because
you still
keep on interrupting me. Please let me speak.
If I have a question to ask you, I'm going to ask you the question.
But you did. I didn't even finish.
My question. I don't want to hear the rest of the question. My question to you is: you say that black bodies have the part to be a part of this consciousness. How do you assume that?
How do you assume? Bell Hooks writes that a critical that blacks should not look at suffering only the image of slavery. That they should accept a critical conscience. Learn.
Okay, just because they should do something. My question is: what tools do we have to actually be able to just be like we're not going because we're both agreeing that the slavery that you're talking about happened in the past. The slavery that black bodies face are currently right now.
Interpreting that argument again. Bell Hooks is saying that there are many cultural references that African Americans can refer to.
Even if we can be a part of a method that you create, what evidence do you read that specifically says we have the tools to create methods of because it sounds like in order for us to have a method to change something, we have to fall captive under another minority's method.
Who are aware that they live in a racist society that negatively stereotypes stereotypes.
Okay, that's about a minority. That's about us being a part of a method that you create.
Yes, that is.
My question is, how do I create methods myself without being a part of someone
No,
else's
you can be
method?
part of conscientization. We say
Okay, what if I don't want to be a part of your method? How can I create my
you haven't
method for
disproved why
myself?
conscientization is a bad thing.
Okay, I'm not saying it's a bad thing. What I'm saying is that
Why wouldn't
if
you want to
if I only can be a part of your method, that means that I'm still inferior to you because
that's
it's
not
your
what we're
method
saying.
that I'm
We're
a
not
part
excluding
of.
other methods. We're just saying that.
So what I'm saying is that how do I create those methods for resistance, and is that possible?
It's possible to make a critical consciousness, which the atheists only claim. I don't know why. Yes, you can make another method. That's your choice. That's your decision. But we say a process of
But the
conscientization
best method is the
something
method that you create.
No, it's the one that we isolated and the one I see that Asians should go through. Like, you have not provided a reason
So
why
Asians should go through
conscientization.
that.
You have provided a reason why anti-blackness is important, but you have not provided a reason why conscientization is not good.
Okay, but we don't. Okay, that's fine. Let's talk about how you. Okay, what does a permutation look like?
Permutation do both. There's several different ways that the permutation can function.
Like
First,
one?
we can break down, go through a process of conscientization. You guys can do your method that way.
We had 834.
33, start.
33.
Okay. Yeah. No one heard this time. Let's do them out. What? No, I don't think so. And that's the only. Where did you mark this push-up part?
Let me see.
In order to combat colorblind state policies, so they disrupting instrumental club as unify one.
One?
Yeah.
Yeah. You see why this is a big problem, right?
Yes.
It's exclusively somebody's in conflict. Wow, this card's a lot better than I thought.
Which one?
The school book card. Because I would like, don't you dare believe this isn't a, this is a concept ultimate.
Just read that. Just read that new one.
Oh my god, look, I missed one. You must have asked, guess what's okay. Dude, active resistance system.
They said the crosses is one and two.
Yeah, remember that's how this way. Do you want to do this? Wow. Pessimism is a resignation.
Are you serious? Did they actually do that?
Don't you dare try and silence movements which call attention to race by shaping white liberal thinkers. I'm going to tell them that they're right.
I mean, we can read those in cross-sections.
What
examples?
Okay, so.
Settlement? I don't have any other
Y'all have a question?
Yes, we have yours. Here you go.
Sorry.
Hold up.
Alright, I'm gonna go to the K overview. Then I'm gonna take the link debate.
Whenever you're ready.
I'm sorry?
Is it like extensive? Should it be closed separately?
I mean, there's two cards. I don't know.
I mean, I'm doing it
On the computer, so.
I have infinite space.
Alright, just go ahead.
The affirmative exclusionary education and the policing of black thought theory, anti-black knowledge production outweighs in all the impacts of the plan air flu. Implication to now the first is magnitude. As a black woman, I am the radiation McBride. Our alternative me knocking at the door of the debate community. Now their interpretation is shots being fired through the door of the ballot. They will make the argument that all their conscientious and more is the most included. But they have conceded that the world is already in it for people of color. We can never be included. Their type of politics. I'm Amalade, 84. The movement of the third power institution, imperialism, military power, and mistype the attack to do this today. They consider with the struggles against race and poverty expertise where there will be no word after dumping the effects of work concluded 25 to 1 million people in the same number Africans who died in 1990 the role of African freight ships and slavery were people of color who look up at the world in these centuries ago. Our world with our language continent went into the death culture convinced us that more concerned with the deaths and lives motor will to the survival at any cost in the search for liberty and its peace within as dignity as women of color here the word of the death past and we as people must be on the front we must continue to die the people not taking into fraction just said even if I am speaking you are rejecting the word that come from my mouth because with that day I said we can never be the minority. I have conceded that me and my party can never be the way that we are interpreting. That's more of a reason why we can never be under their interpretation of Vega at 11:15. Black folk do not have the luxury of being trained to the American when the time correct. Black American laws subject to extremely high standard of perfecting personally responsibly powering behavior in a conformity all years like white prevalent in lights of mediocrity, white behavior because they're not taking the representation of the whole group of white people are considered outlaid and exception to the whiteness. Imagine themselves as being neutral and normal and neutral, naturally normal, black and brown players judged by the rest, at least about the latter, taking the representative of the whole, and that is up to us to prove our modern race, multiple individuals with the voice of reconstruction and personal for their own type of black culture, lived by the less were sometimes provoked, white victims had it coming in. Trayvon Martin was murdered by a street utility because they wore a hoodie sweatshirt in Chennai. I've been walking down the street with white folk. Her mission Marie should be probably treated the same way, but because I'm not her acting in she was apparently in trying to get the folks to not be able to have the white man with the shotgun blood her face over there for her Darrington, knock at the door for help, mark that at help. And 30, extend the partly evidence really specific and talking about we need to collapse all of society, all of our links are just that's the reason why they can never get the permeation. The first reason is because they're the first reason is they're well, actually go to the line, go to the link There are five distances to all the permutations. The first is the optimism of the one they see. Now they think like the black body can be included to their policy, but no, you are conceding. The words to never talk about how the black body is considered outside of all their freedom of humanity and all their evidence specifically talking about things like all humans being included just from the Asian liminal states, but how all their Asian liminal states specifically to humans are what it says specifically critique the idea because the black body considered outside of all that freedom. Now they're here their own passion evidence that Asian American pride is singular use way to attack the problem of equity president in the terms of overrepresentation. These minorities have already been heard from souls to engineer. They're already overrating their presentation with code that a mirror they made here. Now this card, and they said that the Asians are used for one is as a weapon against the modest form of the redistribution divided by the state. Now this evidence is only specifically talks about the community. Now I need you to call for passion to evidence after the round specifically talks about how the Asians can solve for only the people. Now all of their arguments about why they should give off into the presentation about how they are the most inclusive of the reason why you're going to reject that is the second because they're often the optimism of things things like inclusion. The second is the civil. They said that we still need to see like civil society at the point of resistance. Now, our resistance will never actually solve for anything. We're saying that the resistance probably makes things worse. And the black body is already literally the walking dead because we are socially and ontologically more reason why sustaining civil society is the worst thing. Now they so that we can support things like making community a better place for the people like the Asians or people like black. But no, it is not the fact that you're saying that we can reform society and make society even worse because you're just ignoring the fact. You're just ignoring the fact that humanity is one of the contradictions between human and the slave. Now, you're focused on the mind and the role. We're saying that we need to focus on things like the body. Now, they say that just how they are interacting with themselves in society, how we're seeing the problem is the fact that we can never shed our ideas. Now, even if you as an Asian American go into a place where there's white only simply because they are found you are simply the minority. Me and my partner will never actually have that privilege. Now, even if they prove that they try to make it more inclusive, they will never actually make it more because me and my partner cannot literally take off our skin and say that we decide that we want to be the Asian minority. We want to be the model minority. More reason why they don't get the representation. Now, all black temporality is not historical in the way that Asian temporality. They talk about the Asians. They talk about Asian slavery in the way in which past and how the African American slavery is still going on to this day. That's why our evidence will specifically talk about the fungibility of the slave. Now, the fact that they are even advocating which is probably going to be conditioned more of a reason why you should vote on the affirmative because it is the same kind of condition as that perpetuating things like slavery. They use the plantation owners to use the slave to better themselves. They're just advocating for us to throw us. They are just advocating the permutation to throw us into their advocacy. Is literally cultural capital. The alternative is literally me and my partner. I got a lot of time, but I think I might be going too fast. Anyway, the ballot doesn't do it or change anything there. Their false beliefs in debate society is a problem. If we win the money seat, it's impossible to take the count of black body being more of a reason why you should just collapse civil society as a whole. They said that the alternative cannot resolve anything. That is exactly what we're arguing. We're saying that the alternative can never do anything except for the collapse of civil society. We're saying that it's trying to reform thing as in with the conscientiousness that they talked about on the case law is exactly the problem because you're not actually going to be able to include the black body because we can never be included in their policy. They try to to go over everything by saying that they talks about how they are not a universal entity. But yes, you are because at the point in which you're actually thinking about why things like that slavery were important. Now, the one you see cross express, they said that things like slavery were also important, but however we should just talk about this one specific into how the things like slavery are still going on. You're ignoring these. In fact, next thing's argument that they had, they said that the Asianism is a result of. They said that like the Asian being the bottom minority, the result of anti-blackness. However, that is exactly the argument, more of a reason why we should class society, because even as we are rejecting blackness, we are pushing up something. Now, the idea of freedom is based on somebody else having to be enslaved. All right, I'm going to stop time.
Alright, so where does the F reform anything? Where does the F lead to freedom?
Right, you're reforming the debate community. You're saying that we need.
We're reforming the debate community.
That was per the 1AC.
Okay, so what is the alternative then?
Our alternative is, we said that we should collapse society, but that's an impossible demand.
Do
so
nothing?
basically, we can't
So do nothing, right?
Okay.
Alright,
so
that's fine. What does the ballot signify to you? Why do you want it?
Ballot doesn't do anything or create anything. However, the
Why do you
1AC.
want it?
We said that the 1AC is a bad idea. It probably means you just.
Okay, why is the 1AC a bad idea actually?
Right, because you make.
Let me elaborate on the question. If blackness, if freedom is a problem, and that's a problem for black people, why shouldn't Asians go through a process of conscientization?
Don't understand your question here.
Why shouldn't Asians go through a process of conscientization? Where do you read one card that's specific to Asian Americans?
Didn't have to. It was based off of how you
have to?
Okay.
Wait, you're saying that Asian Americans
I
are
don't think
the
you're gonna
same
let me
people
finish,
as
so I'm
black
not gonna
people?
say anything until you were.
Please finish.
Okay.
Asian Americans are the same people as black people?
Right. The argument of the 1AC was that you can solve for the people like Asian Americans. However, our argument is that the black body is found on the contributions to the humanism that you presented in the 1AC.
What does that have to do with Asian Americans?
Right, because we're not even human, so I don't understand why.
Asian Americans are seen as aliens. What does that have to do? Like, what does that the anti-blackness have to do with Asian?
You said yourself you are the model minority, therefore more accepted
And that
by.
sucks.
And that's why we're breaking it down. So
yeah, we said that is a problem. That's another one of our links.
Wait, just out of curiosity, it sucks to be model minority.
Yes, because
I'm sure it does, but I can never understand that. So
why doesn't the permutation solve? We go through a process.
Yeah, the permutation doesn't solve 5 reasons. First, your optimism. You're saying
wait. First, when you go through a process of conscientization, you can be nihilistic. Why doesn't that solve?
Again, because you're still trying to be optimism and trying to make more inclusion. That only makes society work.
We create more inclusion.
You're trying to.
So doing nothing is gonna make it's gonna be better.
Right. When you try to make more freedom from other people, that mean that somebody has.
I'm asking you, like, doing nothing is better?
I mean, probably, yeah.
Probably. So, like.
We don't have. I don't know everything that is good, but I know that the one is really bad.
Black people are socially dead. What do you change about that?
Don't have to. We said that the alternative just has to burn down civil society.
How does the alternative burn down civil society?
Impossible demand. We can't do anything. That's
so you say we should burn down civil society, but you cannot do that.
Okay, look, this
can't do anything. That's why the 1AC the bad thing.
We're saying that there is no way that we can create methods of resistance in a space that is so dominated by like white culture.
That seems like a defensive.
Why are you debating in here? Why are you trying to expose anti-blackness in civil society if you say that there's no way to do anything?
Because if we're both agreeing that whiteness will collapse upon itself, we're saying that if that's what it takes to stop these oppressions from happening.
Whiteness will collapse upon itself?
That's it. That's why we said that we need to have
why is your
critique
critique unique then?
Well, because we're saying that the 1AC is the bad thing, because you try to make these system of resistance.
Where do you have a card about conscientization or Asian Americans?
Okay, your argument, your articulation of the entirety of the 1AC as a whole was that you could make it better for everyone.
Alright, so we want to take everything except for the permutation of the rates, which would just be the alternative. Well, it would be the alternative rate, and then the like the rest of the money.
Alright, cool.
Ready?
Can you read the cards?
No.
They see the alternative not solved, but they can see the fact that there is nothing that we can actually do to stop from slavery from happening. They are ignoring the fact that if we maintain society, that means that certain people will continue to be free while other people will be enslaved, which probably means that they are ignoring the fact that even though the Asian body is not currently enslaved, the black body is still enslaved right now, which means that while the Asian body was liberated, the black body remains to be enslaved, which probably means that there is one reason why we cannot under this universal method they are trying to create in the first place. Besides, even if the alternative is not solved, we do not need to put an alternative for you to vote negative. The only thing that we have to win is that we should not try to create a different type of method to fix society when we can see that all of these methods are continuing to fail in the first place. Now they say the white supremacy basis so that they are a model minority, but the first argument that we're going to make is that there is nothing that you can do to stop society from labeling you as a white minority, which probably is the reason why you should be pessimistic about it. Now the second argument that we're going to make is it is a privilege, it is a position of privilege to be able to label yourself as a minority. Now you cannot say that all minorities think that Asians are the minority, because I do not think that. Moreover, it must really suck that you are the minority while the black body is literally the worst lowest form of a minority, which means that I am not saying that it's a bad thing that I'm not saying that it's a good thing that you are labeled as a minority, but I'm just saying if you look at the type of oppression that these two populations face, you face the oppression of being called a model, while I face the oppression of being called a criminal. And I would say that if you do not change anything, that we are just being oppressive. Yes, that is inside of our evidence, but you are ignoring the fact that we are a change. We are a change in the belief that there is actually a change that can come in the first place. Probably means that this is not an evidence for the affirmative. I would say that people of color, they also are saying that people of color can be inside of their movement. They are conceding the fact that there is no type of change that can come in the first place. I'm pretty sure that people thought that during the civil rights movements, actual change will come in society, but that just shows that even though that was the method, there was no change that actually happened in the first place. And they say that they are not universal ethic, and there were no agents inside of our cars, but you are conceding the fact that you are a universal method in which you assume that all bodies can fit under it. Even if black bodies can't fit under their method, they are conceding the fact that we don't have the tools to create our own method, which people will still make the agents a minority. Look at this minority that created a method for all other minorities to fit under into. That is our argument. They also say that the liminal economy is good and we should create one. Now, yes, our evidence does say a liminal economy is good, but once again, you are conceding that it is a position of privilege to say that your population should be that liminal group that we speak of in the first place. They, once again, that would simply make you the model minority that you say that white supremacy labels you as in the first place. Now they say, once again, the Asians should be that population. Now, that was just answered. Well, now they also say that public spaces are key, but if you look at our evidence, Jerome, I'm pretty sure he would argue that as a position, as a privileged male, he, of course, would say that public arenas like this is a good space to talk about these things, because I talk about and want to see how literally, if you read these type of performances inside of the debate sphere, what that allows for whites to do is they can vote for your performance, and that makes them feel like they are actually doing something good in the world, that makes them feel that they are actually changing, but they are literally ignoring how power structure still exists inside of the debate community. So that probably is a reason why their performance be co-opted. Now they also say, I'm going to answer the benefits of the permutation. First, the benefit they say is that, one, again, black body can be a part of conscious making, but they are saying that we only can fit under your method. We do not have the tools to fit under our method. Now, the second benefit they say is that they solve the black-white binary, but they are saying that there is no way to solve the black-white binary because the middle passage happened in which we took the African man and we took him from being African to being black, and that literally means that no matter what you can do, we cannot have this type of sense of color blindness, because color blindness would literally make us oblivious to the past and what has actually happened. Now, they say silence. Well, silence will literally smooth over all the forms of racism, but we are not a form of silence. This evidence takes into account that this evidence presumes that we do not understand the power relation that goes on between races, but we are understanding that there are this type of racism that happens between whites and Asians, and we're saying that we need to take the type of change and stance against this as not make us think that we can actually create different methods. Now, they say that this means that the case is an impact term, but you are conceding the fact that it can never be a case term if this is a question about methods, and if this is a question of starting points. If you agree that anti-blackness is a starting point, that means that the way that the one see evaluates the oppression that blacks face based upon Asians cannot take into account the middle passage, which means that you will still further this anti-black oppression because you do not take the time accountability the way that anti-blackness was justified in the first place. Now they say that our failure to actually expose this type of racism means that we continue to effectively endure the side of society. We are conceding the fact that is where the alternative come in. Our refusal to a society literally wants minorities to come up with methods so that they can understand how we are oppressed and understand how they are superior, which means that our refusal to create these type of methods will allow for the whiteness to collapse upon itself. The 1AC is a reason about the 1AC literally highlights how whiteness will collapse upon itself because it can never really be sustained through different dichotomies that are making. Now they extend their narratives, but you can pull through our narrative. Our narrative was a way of signifying with the Asian body. It was a way to signify with the slave body, with the Asian slave, and just literally show you how society will always create a type of slave that needs to be enslaved so certain populations be free. That's probably the reason why you are going to prefer the African experience of the slave, because they are conceding the fact that that is what actually led the way for them to be the minority in the first place. Without the oppression of the slave, that means that there would be no oppression of the Asian body in the first place. Now, at the end of the day, you have to evaluate this wrong through starting points. If they are agreeing that anti-blackness is a starting point, that probably means that is exactly why you should reject society, because society was literally built off anti-blackness. It could be because slaves were the economic principles for the United States.
Prep?
Yes, of course.
I mean,
Can I go get some water?
Yeah.
Wait, what? Yeah, no. They have not discriminated against any part of the conscientization, right? So even if you go to, we still saw it. And also, don't forget how to get some.
Alright, stop her. Did you fold the negative block straight down?
Sort of.
Define sort of.
So, well, I mean, I did, but I flow, I mean, like, I have separations for, from the 1A, from between the 2NC and the 1NR, between the overview and the link debate and the perm debate, and then the alternative debate.
Of this case and then the entire negative block in the negative block order.
Okay.
Yeah. Hey, toss me my mouth. Actually, don't. I'm having trouble catching things.
Are y'all both seniors?
No, I'm a senior. He's a junior. Oh, we're fine.
Yeah.
I was about to start. Let's see if I have in the order. Alright, cool, sweet. Was the overview the only thing you got before the permutation of the 2NC?
Yeah.
Alright, cool.
Sorry, I went to get water and I realized I had to use the bathroom.
Alright. Orders case, then K. Alright. Both of you good?
I have no cards.
Oh. I have one shortcut. Do you mind if I just give my laptop up?
Yeah, that's cool.
Alright, ready? They still don't have a dissent to our methodology. Conscientization is a good process for Asians because it lets us name our world so that we try to also break things like the myth of the amount of money that most of the Asian community believes, which is an independent reason why we solve our own affirmative and that the impact of the myth of money. Now, the myth of the amount of money has three impacts. One is that the oppression of Asian state is invisible, which I recently performally solved by bringing this into rounds. Two is that the oppression of other groups becomes blamed by Asian Americans, which is why we are performally breaking down the myth of the amount of money. Previous traditional speaking and out of performing is a way to break down the myth of the mind. Now, three is that creates a view that human shield, which is independent self because it brings psychological violence against Asian Americans, which is the reason why Asian Americans need to learn the world so that they have the self-esteem to overcome psychological violence. Not a permutation debate. The permutation was do both in this way. What that means is different strategies for different people. We are not creating a universal method. We're telling you that you have to do conscientization. It always says that conscientization is possible for other groups. If you don't want to do it, that is fine. None of the arguments in the negative lack of reason to disprove permutation. Not there are specific links. One is the optimist link. This is where they're going to lose because the one is the cross-examination was extremely explicit about how they don't do anything. The entire negative block was said said that the alternative is to be pessimistic. It's that Centennial and your own Glenbrooks call bullshit. Here are some lines. So what are we to do? First of all, we cannot do nothing. Instead, it's that if you don't want to change the system, you're being actively oppressed. And 3 is that the status quo is unacceptable. 4 is that don't you dare for a minute try to silence movements which call attention to race by shaking a white little finger at them and telling them that they are naive. And 5 is that we must ask ourselves what can we do to actively resist the system. All of these reasons are things where our optimism is good and your own card agrees with, and that should be the first card evaluated because both teams agree that is good. Now we have, she says that we try to reinforce civil society. No, we do not. It's not supposed to, first of all, it's not supposed to deal with Asian. Second time, we don't try to reinforce civil society. We just try to understand our place in civil society so that we can do it and performally break down things. So fourth thing saying that we don't have the privilege to do that. Yes, you don't have the privilege to do that, and no, that is not saying not every single type of Asian is the model minority. There are types of Asians like the Southeast Asians who are swept under the rug all the time because they get lumped into a group of bigger Asians. Breaking out the myth of the environment should be able to resolve things specifically and the concept of things like welfare, which is why the poverty of Southeast Asians justify in the status quo. That's the net interpretation. She said that she cannot not take off her skin. That's just not a reason why we shouldn't do anything, or else you should try and make your skin visible to the white minority. A reason why you should still struggle in the context of the debate. Then she said that the term is cultural cannibalism. No, it's not. We're not cultural cannibalism because we are our own identity. Conscientization is an internal process, which is the reason why we not being co-opted. The Joe Evans agrees with it and says that internal process should be performed in places like debate runs. Also, you says we need these cross-cultural linkages in academic spaces. The reason why our performance within debate is critical because debate teaches us how to engage other people, aka how we result to relate to the resolution. She said that valid does not lead to civil society and class society. Another framing is that the negative block does not have a card about Asian, and 2 is that the negative block does not have any offense. The whitest class itself is the closest thing they get to offense, except that was never said in the 1EC, which is the reason why doing nothing literally does nothing, and the reason why risk of conscientization should be performed without the goal of evidence was mishandled, except also the Hooks evidence. Someone, a black female author, specifically says that you must try to attain critical consciousness and have self-esteem, which is the only way to get out of a problem, or else you will be antagonistic and lead to no type of change. The idea of freedom is something still going on. Now, the one and only, now instead of the last one that is a black white bind, the little bias in the present that the Winter evidence talks about is the Asian American, because Asian American is transnational. People sometimes think they're white, people sometimes think they're black, except they're stuck in the middle and don't know what to do, which is why the Asian bias should be used to break down the black white binary, or else that's just by the depression of the Hutchin card and the outcome contextualizes and the gene cards contextualizes in the context of the oppression, because white Americans use and the conservative right uses Asians as the darling to point and say other minorities, why can't you be like them? Or in debate, traditional performances, why can't you be like Centennial and try and oppress them just by excluding them based on these minorities? If we break that down, that's the reason why we at least have some form of impression. Also, is the reason why that is good. Now, he says that we are in a position of privilege to say all Asians are models. We are not all Asians are models. That is our argument. The model minority is a myth that it does not apply to every single type of Asian, which justifies the poverty of Southeast Asian, which is one of the popular evidence talks about. He says that we are universal message. That was already into the bottom, and he says that we don't have the tools for evidence. Bell Hooks would seem to disagree, and she is a black person. The reason why she and Goldberg both agree that pessimism is not the answer. He says that we are trying to make a model method. That was explicitly not true. As dropped about the southern evidence coming the 1 year that specifically says that our performance should be included because debate has to be cultural. Just being antagonistic is not the right answer, or else that leads to the extinction of debate and the culture of the speech and the culture in general. He says that Joe is a privileged white male. That's not a reason why his argument is bad. His argument says that we need to do this. The words for this question is the ones that should be preferred because it says that the only way to speak out against the silence is to do it in these kinds of public places. He says that they don't have the tools for back will disagree and that there's no other way to solve the background matter. Yes, we do. We can do it through these other types of things. He says that we try to whiteness collapses upon itself. That was not done. And finally, the argument about the starting point is a question. It's not a question about starting point. Yes, we agree that anti-blackness and civil society bad. It's all about a question of solvency, which is the reason why at the end of the day, conscientization is a better method than just being antagonistic and doing nothing.
Uh, 307.
I ended up not reading the card.
I think they do. You might want to explain about the minority argument they don't know because they're misunderstanding it. They're probably confused with the minority. Or I'll do anything else.
Do you need help on anything? I'm gonna get a drink.
Oh. Alright, so I'm gonna go to case.
Okay.
And then we're gonna K overview at the top. It's short. Ish.
Okay.
Then I'm just kind of gonna go. I guess it's really hard to tell where I'm going at this point because everything's kind of in very weird order. So I'm just going to kind of go down.
That is totally fine.
All right. The case is still a disset, but no, it is not all of our reasons for why the affirmative can never solve things like consciousness because the black bodies and taken always going to be antagonistic to your methodology. Now they said that it's good for that consciousness is good for Asian, but okay, that is fine. We're saying the black body can never be in the consciousness, and consciousness is the way it was when he said for now. It's the one and the two ways it never explains to exactly what consciousness is and how it's going to be explicitly inclusive towards the black body. Is more of a reason why you're going to vote for the collapse of the next is that we perform to collapse the myth, but no, you do not collapse the myth. You actually make it better. You only make the myth more of a reason because you're saying you are the minority who just making more conclusive for all of the other minorities who couldn't apparently do it for the other one. Our argument they said the Asian needs to overcome this minority, but however you are now overcoming this, you're only making it worse because you're pretending as if you can overcome all the problems of the barriers of the civil society. But the only way that we can actually break away from this is by doing nothing because whiteness will never be clapping themselves when they are because you start to go to the K flow overview. I should be writing out the ballot right now because the K outweighs and turns all of the K's, none of the coalition arguments. They are responsible to all of their arguments are functionally just say now don't let the one ear just come up here and say that they answer all of our arguments. Now we had 5 specific dissents to why the permutation would never work. The first was the optimum. They only made a few well, this is still an overview, but I'm gonna just we have 5 dissents to read about the permutation when now the alternative will collapse the entirety of the word that we know. The one ear had no term of defense to why the word that we know isn't good. They just say that we can have maybe conscientiousness, they have no defense of why we need to have all of the civil society. They have presented aspects of the civil society that were bad, which is more of uniqueness for the class of the actions for the argument and violent overcoding that appropriate black body in a way that only works for them by saying that it is the debate about something but that can only come from a privilege specific. We can never solve for things like the back body because you need to you need to validate the point of debate from a starting point. That they have already said themselves that things like slavery cannot be comparable to things like the slavery that happened for 400 years in America can never be comparable to things like slavery that happened within the Mexicans and Koreans. But however they are conceding that's what we need to have the discussion of slavery as a starting point, because only through our doing nothing can we allow for the civil society class to itself go to the line by line. Alright. They said that what the Asian body is. They said that we need to break that. Me and my partner can break it down, but no, you cannot. You can never break it down. We said that the civil society, actually they can reform things, but civil society is always going to maintain something. We have this space of resistance. Now the one year never made our argument specifically talking about how the Asian space can never include things that people who are not human. All of our evidence specifically including all the people think that people. Their evidence is specific to only including subjects who are human. Wilderson's grammar of suffering specifically proved how the slave is always going to be antagonist to the idea. They said that we are coming from our own ignition, therefore that is key. Therefore, the permutation not cultural capital. No, it is not. Nowhere in the one you specifically said to analyze how the body would be including your analysis. You specifically talk about the Asian body would be including analysis, but we're saying that is a problem because you're not looking at the reason why our society was formed like this in the first place. Our civil society was literally founded on the idea of slavery because to be free to liberate the Asian body, there must be, they say that the Asian population is key. Asian population is key to the class and the myth of the bottom minorities. But no, again, you only make it worse. Called part of the arguments from cases said that it is not a debate about solving. But no, yes, it is. The more of a reason why you don't solve because you can never solve for things like suicide. Moreover, only doing nothing will actually make things like society be able to collapse themselves. And one area all concede that whiteness will inevitably collapse from this. So they said that optimism that our bubble evidence said that we need to be optimistic, but no, our bubble evidence not saying that we need to, our bubble evidence not saying we need to be optimistic. Now, so our pessimism is the only way that we can collapse civil society. The only way by doing something is to do nothing. That is our argument. Now, they said that another word of the card that we need to be thinking about what we can do to actively resist the system. The resistance in the collapse of civil society. Only in the total collapse of civil society can we ever have any kind of resistance. Now, they said that they do not reform because they said that they do not reform, that they do not try to reform to again. You try to make debate more inclusive for Asian minorities. Nowhere either do you actually prove that
even if they win optimism is good, you should be optimistic about pessimism.
Even if they win optimism, they should be optimistic about pessimism. More of a reason that why the alternative probably can solve that because we never had that extreme pessimism before. That means that there's only a chance that it can solve for all of it. They said that the neg has no offensive reason to vote for the negative. Yes, we do. We said that the only three classes of civil society can we ever solve for things like the one AC time. They say that there's always going to be this oppression. They talked about how the South Asians are different from the other Asians. However, that is the reason why we need to have the starting point of black because they were labeled from beginning just from their skin. Like the reason why me and my partner talk about we can never shed our just because the color of our skin. Now that is more of a reason why you need to reject society as a whole because South Asian and black people, other black people will always be rejected just simply because of the color of their skin.
What's right?
755.
755. Your card is right. So the often reason is that we cannot collapse terms of Asian identity. However, the myth of the model was supports civil science, so conscientization. And also from teaching different sides of different people. Also, yeah, that's like a link of Mitchell. Yeah, true. me those lines for like on homework, okay?
I'll chat too.
No, just like get it on the computer, okay?
I'll email it to you. Actually, I'll type them up on your computer.
No, I don't want it on the computer. Why? Just because I just want to have it in my papers and stuff.
So why do you want it in mine?
Why can't you just give me your computer?
You just said you didn't want it on the computer.
Just give me your computer.
No, I'll put it on your computer. You want to bring up two computers. Remember, if they try to spin that all that's changing into it all. Be like, that was a shit. They said it's doing nothing now.
What? Because the activists of civil society is true. Don't do the permutation.
Sign your ballot affirmative because conscientization is good for Asians, which they have conceded to in our conscientization, naming the world, learning our place in the world, and taking a step to actively change the world. Our Osajima card is the only thing that mentions the word Asian and conscientization. It's the framework that you should validate. They do not have a reason why conscientization is bad for Asians. That's all we are able to solve because we take a stance against and say we will not be used as tools of the way. It only exists because the Asian community largely believes in the myth of the model monitor. Here is our argument. Right now, white supremacists point at the Asian Americans and look at these hardworking Asians. Their work ethic means that they are able to make themselves places in society. You black people and you Latinos and poor whites, you guys are it's all your own fault that you are not we are subjugating you because you are not working as hard as the Asian American. This is a reason why conscientization is going to turn the entire critique. Now here's the impact and negative drop. South Asian Asians are excluded from welfare and psychological violence against Asians will only continue conscientization. This means that by some the process of conscientization is able to resolve for these things where people are just Asians are just grouped together and perceived not to need the benefits of because they are seen as all as hardworking. Now go on to the line by line first. Yes, we can solve for the myth of the modeling process. It's an internal one, learning who we are, epistemologically growing. The negative does not have a single piece of literature or a warrant in this argument. The black body. Here's why the kick turns the upper. The reason why slaves, the black body is fungible, and why the slave narrative is fungible, and because the myth of the model after the civil rights movement and white supremacists cannot be openly bigotry. They had to be they have to get slippery. They have to be tricky. So the way they justify this oppression is pointing to the myth of the model minority. We're not saying the black party should not be a starting point, but we say who solves for that. What is the justification? Why does white supremacy do what it does? We say it's the myth of the model minority. The negative does not give an alternative interpretation. Give me a timer. Now they say black body cannot be part of it. If you don't want to be part of it, then you do not have to. You have not read a reason why Asians should not be part of it. They say we make the myth of the minority worse. No, this is a new argument. Consider that you drop case and did not engage us the entire time. Also, Osajima card indicates we have to have a constant clarification. It's an internal thing, which the one area explicitly said that we must go through it. So you cannot commodify. You cannot say anything bad about the myth of the model if it's an internal process. Also, if stopping oppression means that we become a myth of the model minority, that's still probably a bad thing because there's no oppression if we break down anti-blackness in civil society, which means that this impact, this turn only applies if we are able to solve for the critique, which means that there's no impact to that turn. Go to critique. Now, here is the framework for the critique. There is no link to the process of conscientization to link, and there's no reason why Asian go through process of conscientization is a bad thing. First, it's going to be the permutation. Permutation to vote different strategy for different people. This is going to take out their link of omission because if black people cannot participate in conscientization, if black they should concentrate on civil society and do nothing, then they can do that. However, they have not read the reason why Asians should not go through a process of conscientization. This is there are several reasons, but I'll go down the line by line. First, is the optimism arguments. This is your Goldberg card. So what do we do? First of all, we cannot do nothing. The status quo is unacceptable. Don't you dare for a minute try to silent movement which call attention to race by shaking your white liberal finger at them and telling them they are naive. This is what the negative bloc has been doing since the 1MC to the negative bloc. They have said that they're not going to do anything, that they're going to be nihilistic. The 2 are shifting and saying that they are going to try breaking down civil society, but doing nothing does not break down civil society. Going through a process of conscientization and revealing the myth of the monolith, get rid of the justification of that, and breaks down civil society in a better way. This is why a permutation where we go through a process of conscientization and you do nothing is still a best option, and that there's no link. They say the second link is that we cannot solve for the black body, the black cultural poverty, justified by the myth of the model minority, which was the entire key part of the flow. They say we cannot break down civil society. Yes, we are getting rid of the justification, and even if we can, the impact of dissociation, independent impact is self. They say Asian people cannot include people who are not human. Again, the myth of the model minority, and we are able to solve for the Asian oppressors. Also, the Chinese evidence answers it because Asian Americans are not seen as human either, which was an argument from the one you see about American history. Also, the Asian immigrants are seen as alien, foreigners are always ostracized from society, and not seeing being alien is it's worse than being not human, because the immigration people are always ostracized, even in the current society, which means this argument does not have any offensive symbols. What?
Hooks.
Yeah, no. The Hooks evidence indicates that even if black people can still go through process, this is a black feminist saying that you should go through a process of self-learning, you should go through a process of conscientization. They say total collapse. No, it's not. Now, here's where we're going to win the debate. First is the Valdivia self-learning card. You cause the extinction of debate, which means that if we don't accept these multicultural forms, that means you have no place to talk about